This is the probably one of the first webinars who would be dealing with all aspects of foramen magnum or craniocervical junction tumors, even intradural tumors or extradural tumors, chordomas, and some fixation problems of the region. And we will start to that meeting with the with refreshing our anatomical knowledge. Dr. Jawar from India will tell us the anatomical aspects of the regions. Yes, we are listening to you, Dr.
Thank
Jawar.
you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And first of all, I'd like to thank WFNS and Professor and all the respected teacher and Professor Atul Goyal for giving me this opportunity. So I have named my talk as Unlocking Foramen Magnum. As you know, after this COVID incidents, everybody was under lockdown and things are opening, unlocking. So similarly, I have tried to, correlate this unlocking for the foramen magnum also. As you know, foramen magnum, one of the difficult region in the skull base, and it is difficult to reach and to understand the anatomy of this region. It is very important to unlock it from different sides. All this dissection was done by me and one of my friends, Max Milano from Argentina. We did it in KEM Hospital, UPMC. And of course, coming to the foramen magnum, it is a
I think we lost audio.
Dr. Jawar, we can't hear you.
Yeah, my internet connection got lost, so I'm back.
Okay.
Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Okay, if you can hear me, can everybody
now
see
it's
me?
okay.
Yeah. So CV junction is a foramen, including the foramen magnum, is a osteoligamentous membranous complex. So there are bones, ligaments, membranes, and it forms around the transition zone between brain and spine. So these layers of muscles, ligaments, and membranes, they support the bony complex of occiput with atlas and axis, which helps in providing it mobility. But in spite of having a wide range of mobility, there is quite a large amount of stability also with these ligaments and with all these critical neurovascular structures coming out from the brainstem and some vessels going to the brainstem area. So coming to the bony part of this, if you can see here, this is the view of foramen magnum from the below. You can see how these occipital condyles are located. They are located in quite anteriorly, maybe anterior 2/3 of this. So the approaches, these approaches will depend upon these anatomical landmarks. So this is the posterior view here, and you can see how these both these condyles, they are directed laterally and downwards. And this is the view from front. Here you can see front condyles are quite close, and they act as a sort of your lateral limit to the approaches if you try to reach from front. And here you can see the view from inside. So how to unlock this foramen magnum? So to unlock this region, we have like 3 ways how we can unlock this. We can have an anterior unlock, we can have a posterior unlock, and we can have a lateral unlock. So these are widely all the approaches to the foramen magnum can be classified according to these 3. So to unlock this, we have an anterior approach. So of course, to unlock anything, you need a proper key, and the keys for this unlocking are your landmarks. So if you know your landmarks, if you know your anatomy, if you know which structures you will encounter.
Again, we can't hear you, doctor.
Let me just check.
Speak loudly. नहीं आ रहा है जो अच्छे से जोर से बोल.
Okay. So if you can see these keys are these keys are the landmarks. So they are very important when you are unlocking from front, from the side, or from the behind. So for unlocking anterior corridors, which are your landmarks? So from if you see from anterior side, mostly now the endoscopic approaches are becoming more popular with the advance in endoscopic technology. So you can see the unlocking anterior corridor. We have carotid protuberance, foramen lacerum, we have Vidian canal, we have eustachian tubes. Once you go inside, you have muscles. So these muscles, when you go from anterior side, is longus capitis and rectus capitis anterior. Then you have some bony landmarks, which are superior and inferior clival line. You have a supracondylar groove. You have a hypoglossal canal. Of course, then you have foramen magnum and anterior tubercle of C1. So once you go inside, remove these bones, you can see anterior arch of atlas, odontoid, and then of course the ligaments will come into picture, like atlanto-occipital membrane, transverse ligament, and once you open the tectorial membrane, you can see you can have all this view from uh, anterior aspect. So this is the view from anterior aspect. You can see all the cranial nerves, you can see basilar artery, you can see vertebral junction. So we will come to detail in this thing. So what are the unlocking keys from the posterior corridor? So posterior corridor, we have spinous process, which are the most prominent landmark when you approach from posterior. We have arch of atlas. We have the very important suboccipital triangle, which is bounded by superior oblique, inferior oblique, and rectus capitis major. And of course, some other landmarks are C2 ganglion. Then you can, from this ganglion, you can locate your atlantoaxial joint. You can locate your occipito-atlantal joint, then occipital condyles. You can have vertebral artery. Then you have a rectus capitis lateralis muscle. Of course, this is a little lateral approach, but sometime from posterior also you can reach this area. And the jugular tubercle, if you remove that, you can have a more posterolateral kind of axis. You can reach some lateral and sometime anterior aspect also. So this is the view which you can get from your posterior side. You can have a wide access to your brainstem from here and the vertebral artery here. And unlocking the lateral corridors, it's more of a posterolateral corridor. The structures are similar to posterior, but there are some differences. Like you will have access to mastoid process. There is transverse process of atlas and axis. The muscles are slightly different. Levator scapulae, posterior belly of digastric, and suboccipital triangle will come into picture again. Another important muscle is rectus capitis lateralis, which will come into picture, which bounds which has the jugular foramen anterior to it. So just we have to remember this muscle. We have to see C2 ganglion vertebral artery, and of course, occipital condyle and jugular tubercle. So now we will see briefly the dissection of all these approaches. This is the lateral view, of course, once you removed all the bony structure. This is the view, and you can see you will get access to even the front of the brainstem, even the vertebral and basilar artery you can access from posterolateral aspect. So coming to the anterior approach, so this is the view of the your endoscopic view of the nasopharynx area. You can have eustachian tube. These are the pharyngeal mucosa here. So once you remove the mucosa and muscles, you will get all this dissection with this picture. So now this is the dissection of the whole of the brainstem. This is how these vertebral these are carotid arteries here. This is the foramen magnum. This is the occipito-atlantal joint here. So before trying these approaches, one very good, you have to study this anatomy also. How these carotid arteries, pharyngeal part of the carotid arteries is related to your approach. Sometimes, especially in old age, they can be bulging and coming into the picture, which is a kind of relative contraindication. It's a contraindication to approach from anterior aspect. So you should know where are your pharyngeal carotid arteries. Accordingly, you can make access through this. And once you remove this part, and you can see how the whole of the brainstem will come into the picture with vertebrobasilar junction. And here you can see the hypoglossal canal also, and the foramen magnum is removed. So this is the view once you remove your clival, this thing. This is the clival dura here, and these are the dorsal clival arteries which are supplying the clival dura. These are your carotid protuberance. So these are the paraclival internal carotid arteries, which are your lateral boundaries. And from here, you can see the foramen lacerum here, and eustachian tube is below in the picture. And these are both the median nerves, which are going to the pterygopalatine ganglion. So these are your lateral limits to this approach. Of course, with some angled, you can have the view here, but that will not be your working area. So once you remove the dura, of course, then you can see how this eustachian tube will act as your lateral landmarks. This is your foramen lacerum here. This is a vertebrobasilar junction. Here I have kept the arachnoid membrane. So once you remove the arachnoid membrane, you get this beautiful view of the whole of the your medulla, and the this is the medulla here, pons here. So this is the sixth nerve having a very vertical course here. And these are your seventh heads with the ICA here. And you can have your ninth head, 10th and 11th nerves here. This is the 12th nerve, which starts as multiple branches, then they join in the hypoglossal canal and go into jugular foramen. So this is a overview of the dissection, and you can even see the anterior spinal artery going to supply the spinal cord here. So this is the lateral view of the same dissection. If you see, this is the 12th nerve, then in the laterally here, I have even dissected some part of the internal carotid artery. You can see some part of cochlea here. And this is, behind this is the jugular foramen area. So this is the dissection after displacing ICA, just to show the orientation. Of course, it will not be practically possible, but sometime if the lesion is giving you the space, some jugular foramen tumor, they can push the artery on one side. Of course, then you can expect this site. This is the ninth nerve, which has a separate area in the jugular foramen while going out, separate subcanal, you can say. This is 10th and 11th. And this is the 12th nerve in hypoglossal canal. Again, they join, once it goes out, it joins other lower cranial nerves. So if you go, this was the lateral view. If you see the inferior view here, you can see vertebral artery here entering intradurally, and this is the dentate ligament here. And these are again 12th branches of the 12th nerve, hypoglossal, and this is your C1 nerve. So this is the close-up view of the entry of vertebral artery into the intravertebral space here. This is a branches C1, the dorsal branches. So they just travel with the ICA, with the vertebral artery below the vertebral. This is your, again, dentate ligament. So this is another specimen just to show the orientation of vertebral artery hole. The bone is removed here. This is part of the ICA. This is again 12th nerve going here, and this is the C2 in the background. So this was in short about the anterior approach. Coming from posterior, of course, is a very favorite and most popular approach to this area. And if you see this, there are a lot of muscles in this approach. So we don't have to remember all the name of the muscle, but few of them are important to know. Like here you can see rectus capitis major, and this is superior oblique and inferior oblique. So this is suboccipital triangle, which give you access to the C1 arch and the vertebral artery here. Of course, this is a different view of that suboccipital triangle here, and how vertebral artery after entering here curves over the arch of the atlas, then going intradurally. So this is the posterior view with all the suboccipital bone is removed. Of course, you can see this, there is a large, there is a bony area here which is obstructing our view to the anterior. If we can remove this tubercle area extradurally, that can give you access more anterior to this. So like this, here we have removed some part of the condyle with the supracondylar resection of this jugular tubercle. Now you can see all the cranial nerves going into the jugular foramen. This is the spinal accessory nerve, spinal part of the accessory nerve. These are the cranial part here. And here is the vertebral artery. Here you can see this, there is a ring of bone which is formed over the atlas here. So just before going it, here it is entering your intradurally, and this is your, you can see is the dentate ligament, and these are the lower cranial nerves after coming out of the jugular foramen. Here they are related to this rectus capitis lateralis. So this muscle is very important landmark when you are dealing with jugular foramen. So this is again a different view of once you just lift some part of the tonsil, you can see branches of pica here, and this is mainly the posterior and the lower part of the brainstem. But here you can see how it is related to this vertebral artery coming inside, and all the cranial nerves, they're going here. This is again the 12th nerve going into hypoglossal canal. So any lesion which is around the foramen magnum can involve all these critical structures. These are very critical. Even a small injury can have a lot of problem. So where we have removed some part of the medulla just to highlight the anterior aspect of this, how this vertebro-basilar junction is related to foramen magnum or vertebral artery. You can see how the vertebral artery is coming through C2 foramen, then going all the over the atlas on its way to vertebro-basilar junction. So this is the top of view of the vertebro-basilar junction. Here you can see the foramen magnum here. These are the 12th nerve here again. The foramen jugular 12th nerve is here. So this is something about from the posterior aspect. Then coming to the lateral approach, of course, lateral is more of posterior lateral. Here the muscles are mainly sternocleidomastoid. You have your trapezius muscles. Once you remove them, then you have the mastoid process here. Occipital artery is here. Of course, then you can have some muscular branches from vertebral artery. So once you open this suboccipital triangle, then you get a good access to the vertebral artery. You can drill the vertebral foramen and mobilize the artery, which can give you a good access to your occipitocervical joint here. And then you have the tubercle here again. So once you remove this area, then you have all the access to your anterolateral aspect of the brainstem. Even you can go if you have some lesion which is anteriorly pushing the brainstem backward, even you can go to the opposite side. So this is a very useful approach. You can have C2 ganglion, vertebral artery. These are the lower cranial. This is the close-up of that. Now you can see the vertebral artery. These are the lower cranials. This is the 9th nerve going separately. Of course, then we have 12th here. So this is the, again, to show how this anatomy can be very useful if you are managing. Of course, one disadvantage can be because you have to work between these small nerve branches. So you have to be careful, but many times these tumors, they give you space and area to work. You can keep on working, taking small bits of the tumor and do the keep on removing. So this is the spinal accessory here from the spinal. This is the cranial accessory. And these are 10th nerve here. Ninth has a separate kind of subcanal in the jugular foramen. And you can even some semicircular canals and the 7th nerve going here. So this is a close-up of this dissection. Again, it's the same nerves here, 9th, 10th. So we have there, and this is the vertebral artery. This is the hypoglossal canal here. So these coming like this, and the hypoglossal canal, the hypoglossal nerve, once it come out, it joins the other nerves. So this is all the whole dissection. You can see the 5th nerve. You can see even the 4th nerve here, 3rd nerve here. We can have the 7th, 8th with the inner ear. Then we have our lower cranial nerves with all the spinal accessory, the vertebral. So this is the clivus plus area of the foramen magnum. And this is all of the skull base. So in conclusion, I can say understand the three-dimensional neurovascular relationship of these structures. Try to identify the key landmarks, the keys which I told you about unlocking these corridors. Once you unlock, study preoperative imaging carefully to plan the correct approach. One approach cannot fit every patient. So study the scan, study the preoperative imaging and see which approach is best, and avoid unnecessary manipulation and handling of these critical and neurovascular structure. So, and anticipate any instability related to this approach and plan accordingly. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Jawar. Yeah, it was really very nice slides you have shown us. One question is coming from a Turkish friend, Dr. Selin, is asking, do you recommend drilling the jugular tubercle and lateral condyle for laterally located masses, although it is necessary for anteriorly located masses?
Not for laterally located. Of course, this discussion will come in other the other speakers also, who will be telling about how to approach these lesions. But for laterally location, I don't think it is required if you have from posterior, if that tumor can give you access.
Do you recommend cutting the dentate ligament to provide space for large tumors?
Yes, of course, it is really helpful once you cut it. It's easier to get in front and lateral to the tumor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Atul, would you to add something?
Yeah, this was, I will say, one of the most beautiful dissection. You agree, Mehmet? This was tremendous dissection.
Right.
And, I know it requires quite a bit of effort, working throughout the day and night, and working with small blood vessels, cranial nerves, do dissection, take pictures. It requires what dissection has been done. Must have, he must have spent lifetime on this dissection. I encourage the young people who are listening to this lectures today to learn from this beautiful dissection. And this forms the basis of our surgery that we all know. Beautiful. I am very, very happy to see this dissection.
Thank you.
I don't know if Uğur wants to say something.
I think his mic is...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was excellent presentation and review all over around the craniovertebral junction, and I really enjoy it. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Just a short comment is that Dr. Jawar, that was a beautiful presentation. I've seen parts of the anatomy that I had never seen in real life. So thank you for providing that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. I think we